Hey guys, I just watched the Virus series, and I can definitely say it's going to get a lot more negative comments and reviews than it will positive, especially with the way the Undertaker's final farewell was handled. Because basically, the way it was handled is at first they did it right. They brought in the legends. Everybody's just associated behind the scenes and in front of the camera with Taker throughout the 30 years. They brought them in as most as they can. Um, And then they did a nice video package. They had Vince show up to talk about it, and you could tell he was a little emotional. And then he introduces the Undertaker, but then something kind of weird happens. You start hearing kind of an 8-bit, 16-bit rendition of the Taker's theme, and then he goes right into his regular theme. And maybe it was my connection, maybe it was the WWE Network itself, because I was watching Survivor Series via Wi-Fi on my television here. It didn't have an Ethernet cable like my PlayStation, so I was like I said I was watching it via Wi-Fi, and it buffered a little bit throughout the night, but especially during the Taker thing, and I was thinking what's going on here. So yeah, that kind of screwed things up a little bit, but when I look at how people were reacting on Twitter about it and seeing it myself, I'm like, yeah, they could have done better and everything. It might have been better in front of a crowd, but it's the best they can do. My assumption, my opinion, is they had this planned out for quite some time, and maybe they were hoping they would have some kind of audience, live audience there when it would happen. But you got to work with what you got to work with. I mean, you take a look at a lot of these music awards and stuff that are happening now, and you got a lot of virtual fans um, in attendance. Like they'll have virtual screens in the audience here and there, uh, virtual screens basically in the audience in the seats to kind of be like, yeah, this is how the best we can do because of the pandemic right now. Um, but yeah, they could have done. I will agree they could have done a lot better with Taker. Um, and honestly, I think originally, this is just my opinion. I think originally they were planning for this not to be the final farewell. My assumption is just because of the way it was, how long it was going, and of course you had that 16-bit rendition of the theme, like that kind of screw up on the theme for Undertaker. It made me think, they're drawing this out so long. Are they setting this up for the Fiend to attack him, and then that sets up his final feud, his final rivalry going into WrestleMania, to where he faces the Fiend, he beats the Fiend, and maybe removes the mask or something like that? Is that what they were setting up to? And none of that happened. It was just they gave him the spotlight. They let him, do make a little speech saying it's time for him to put the Undertaker to let the Undertaker rest in peace, and that was it. And you can tell there was a little bit of emotion in Mark Calloway's face when he had to do that, because it's like he's ending a piece of his career. It's like he's closing the chapter on a piece of his life, and it's it's really hard for anybody in real life to have to close the chapter on something that they've been it's been a part of them for so long, and doing it in this kind of circumstances, whether there was a live audience or not, is a hard thing to do. It really is. But yeah, I do agree they could have done the farewell better, and maybe they do have plans to make up for it come Hall of Fame weekend, and maybe even come WrestleMania. Who knows? As far as Survivor Series goes, you can definitely tell that Vince wanted Raw to outshine SmackDown in a big, big way. I mean, from the pre-show with the Miz winning to the Raw men's team doing a clean sweep of the SmackDown team, to Bobby Lashley beating Sami Zayn, to the women's team on Raw winning the way they did, with Lana being the sole survivor, which a lot of people hated, you know, because of the fact that they've been humiliating Lana all this time, and now you're just playing up the storyline where she just lucks out when it comes to success or victories. You had that. Um, and what did SmackDown get? What did SmackDown get, huh? So you have Raw winning. If you want to count the pre-show, you have Raw winning the pre-show. You have 'em getting a clean sweep of the men's match. The Lana of Raw becoming the sole survivor of the women's match. Lashley winning his match. And then what did SmackDown get? Street Profits, Sasha, Roman. 4-3. So basically, in the end, despite the fact that SmackDown is the better show, and obviously there's more effort being put into it because it's on a wider, bigger corporate station and network, Vince still favors Raw over SmackDown and wants to show that no matter what the circumstances, Raw is the superior brand, no matter what. But yeah, just the way it was done. I mean, individually, like the regular individual champion versus champion matches, even give it to Lashley and Sammy, were better than Survivor Series matches. And hopefully, what this does is it sends a message. As I check something here, it sends a message to Vince and the WWE that this whole brand supremacy thing when it comes to Survivor Series, it needs to end. It needs to end. If you want to do bragging rights and everything, then bring that pay-per-view back, making it network exclusive. Oh, you know what? You know what? Instead of that, why not just dedicate Raw and SmackDown like you do with the draft to being two separate nights, you know, subtitled bragging rights, where you have interpromotional matches, and then whoever wins both nights proves to be the superior brand. There you go. Because honestly, they need to, if they want to keep Survivor Series, as it was or as it is with the elimination matches still intact, then go back to that traditional format of having a babyface team against a heel team. And you know what's funny? If you go back to mid 2000s, between that time frame, mostly like around 2006 to 2009, I believe, they actually consisted they actually had teams consisting, I should say, of babyfaces against heels, and the babyfaces and heels consisted of members from each brand. Like I remember one year you had Triple H leading a team of Jeff Hardy, Kane, Rey Mysterio, and somebody else, I can't think who it was, against a team consisting of Umaga, Big Daddy V, MVP, Mr. Kennedy. So you had that. So you had that Survivor Series matchup, and it worked, and people liked it, people enjoyed it because it was a traditional Survivor Series match, babyface team against heel team. And I think they need to bring that back because you have plenty of baby faces, you have plenty of heels, despite how people might look at it, to do that. You don't have to keep doing this bragging rights deal and then playing up the story of, oh, who's going to get along on each team because of the different personas and rivalries and all that. So, in my opinion, yeah, I think tonight fans, through the voices, social media, and all that, should let it be known that they're sick and tired of the bragging rights tagline or the stipulation they're doing for Survivor Series now and go back to the traditional one because it works better and people find that more appealing and attractive and they're willing to tune in and watch it more than anything else. So, yeah, could they have done better with Survivor Series this year? Absolutely. And could they have done better with the farewell for Undertaker? Absolutely. But maybe they will make up for that in the coming months. Who knows? But those are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Comment if you like. And I am out. Peace.